Hello, I'm Tony Trongone, Superintendent of Pemberton Township Schools. Welcome to another edition of Inside Outlook. We began the budget process early last July, and as we continue to work on it throughout the year, I want to keep you all informed of the process. Today, I'm going to talk about three essential aspects of our school budget. They are adjustment aid and adequacy, military aid, and local taxes, and the comparison to other municipalities. As you can see in the slide, you have adjustment aid. And adjustment aid is state aid a school district receives above what it should receive based on the New Jersey school funding formula. An adequacy budget is what the state of New Jersey defines as the cost of educating students in a school district based on the school funding formula. The adjustment aid is a very popular topic in newspaper articles, and you can see that when Pemberton is listed, you'll see that Pemberton will be losing approximately $26 million. But what we don't see in the papers is what our adequacy budget looks like. That being said, I want to compare adjustment aid versus the amount that Pemberton is over adequacy. And so the first string of data is adjustment aid over the past 5 years, and you can see that it hovers around $25 to $26 million over what we're supposedly not to receive. And then the next stream that you see here is the amount of money, amount of state aid that we received above adequacy. And you can see we hovered about $15 million over 4 years, and last year it dipped down to $10.5 million. And so I'm going to go a little further with the adequacy gap that we have and look at, you'll see a bar here. A brown bar is the state aid and the green bar is our local tax levy. And as far as the monies that came into the school district and state and local, it was a little over $93 million. But when the state looks at the adequacy budget, what it costs to educate a student in Pemberton Township, we were above that number by $15.5 million. This is in the 18-19 school year. In the 2019-2020 school year, our adequacy, first of our money that we received was $92.5 million, as you can see here. And then when they figured out our adequacy with a cost to educate all of our students in Pemberton Township schools, it actually went down, as I mentioned earlier, down to a little under $10.5 million. So we are building efficiencies from 1 year to the next, dropping from $15 million above adequacy to a little over $10.5 million above adequacy for the current school year we are in right now. So I wanted to explain that thoroughly, that we are looking at efficiencies and we are looking at trimming our budget where we can efficiently. Another situation deals with how much state aid will be cut in the following subsequent school year. So Pemberton Township is a former Abbott district that they call an SDA district. And Pemberton being an SDA district, we're prohibited from spending below adequacy. And so the public should know that. So I know in the newspapers, as I mentioned before, they mentioned adjustment aid at $26 million. But the law stated here states that with our municipal overburden that the amount that they'll reduce over time would be a little under $10.5 million over time. I'd like to next change over now to our military aid proposal. So as we're looking at a reduction in state aid, we're also looking to bring in other revenue. And so the green sphere here is all of our Pemberton students who we love them all. But our Pemberton students who are not military affiliated, and then that blue subset are the Pemberton students who are military affiliated students. And so when you look, we have about, this is an example, it's not exact numbers, we have about 3,000 students in Pemberton Township schools that are not affiliated with the military. And then the federal government gives us money in lieu of taxes, because we don't collect real estate taxes off the joint base, McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst. And we have 1,000 students, so we receive money for those students. We actually have more than 4,000 students, but again, this is an example. And so to further the example, our local tax levy, if it were $12 million for the Pemberton students, and then for military students, we receive about $1.5 million for those 1,000 military students. Again, in lieu of real estate taxes. So when you do the math, you see that the Pemberton Borough and Pemberton Township municipalities pay about $4,000 a child for our students in the Pemberton Township School District. And then with our federal military aid, we receive approximately $1.5 million, and we have approximately 1,000 students. We're getting $1,500 a child there. So you can see the difference between what the local taxpayer is paying for a local student and then for a military affiliated student. There's a gap there, a difference. And that difference is about $2,500 a student. And so it's unfair to the local taxpayer. And so the state of New Jersey recognizes this. And what they want to do is change a portion of the state aid formula to account for those kids and give us the difference. So we have approximately 1,000 military students, and the gap is $2,500 per student. So we would receive $2.5 million in state aid. This is a proposal and an example. It could vary very much, but this is the proposal that myself and our administrative team have proposed to the state of New Jersey that looks like it's going to happen for the upcoming school year. So again, the previous slide was about a reduction in state aid, but then this looks like an influx of more monies coming into the school district for our military students because it's only fair. The next topic will be what we pay locally in Pemberton Township and Pemberton Borough. And what you see on the slide here is all the municipalities in Burlington County. The black bar is the average, and you can see at the very, very bottom are Pemberton Borough and Pemberton Township municipalities and what they pay for municipal taxes, school taxes, and county taxes. And there's also an open space tax. So I'm going to blow it up a little larger, and you can see that Pemberton Borough pays approximately, this is a year ago, because this is data that you can get off the website. It's $1,719 for an average assessed house at $184,828. And then a typically assessed house at $164,616 for a Pemberton Township home would pay approximately $1,422. And at the top of the slide, you'll see that the county average is $4,277. And you can see those other municipalities listed on the left and what they pay for school taxes in their particular municipality. And again, these are just data points I want to inform the public on. So there are the 3 points I wanted to make, and I wanted to make sure that we're educating our local taxpayers on different facets of the school budget. And if you have any questions, you can go to our website, and there is a place that you can go further with any types of information. Thanks for joining me today. And as the budget process unfolds, I will present periodic updates on Inside Outlook. Now it's time for another edition of the Creative Classroom. This month, we visited the Pemberton Early Childhood Education Center for the grand opening of their Educational Outdoor Learning Lab. Here to tell you more about this unique outdoor classroom experience is Pemberton Township High School senior Adanya Johnson.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Creative Classroom. Today we're here at the Pemberton Early Childhood Educational Center, where just yesterday a ribbon cutting ceremony was held for their new Educational Outdoor Learning Lab.
1, 2, 3.
Staff and community members joined with students in celebrating the grand opening of the Outdoor Lab, which is designed to be a creative outdoor classroom for Pemberton's youngest learners. Here to tell us more about the outdoor facility are the staff members who played an integral role in making the Outdoor Lab a reality. With me is the supervisor of early childhood, Daniel Hosey, along with master's teacher Debbie Binns, Tracy Haynes, and Ann Donovan. Welcome. Mrs. Hosey, can you tell me how the idea of the Outdoor Learning Lab came about?
Well, we're always looking for new experiences for our children. And, recently there's been a lot in research about the importance of outdoor play for children. And this started as a really small idea a couple of years ago. And with the help of staff, parents, and the greater community, it has grown into what you see today.
And Mrs. Binns, how do children benefit from being in nature and learning through play?
Well, we know young children learn best through active learning, and research supports that. So that means they need to have materials, they need to have manipulation, they need adult support and language and thought. We also realize that children are not getting outside the way they used to years ago, especially when we were children. We were outside all the time. So the benefits are that the research is showing us that children seem more engaged, they're more curious, they're more creative, they're more focused and more relaxed. They also are experiencing sensory stimulations out here that they might not be getting in the classroom, indoors. And we figured, well, here's a good way to tie academic skills in with being in outdoors, more physical activity. There's a quote that we love: if we can't bounce off the walls, if we take the walls away from them. And I think this is going to provide many opportunities for children to really address the needs and grow as a whole child. We're looking for experiences to benefit the whole child.
Thank you. Mrs. Hosier, we're already outdoor playgrounds here at Peckett, but this outdoor learning lab is very different from a playground. Can you explain those differences to us?
Sure. The playgrounds are mainly for gross motor and for children to develop their large muscle skills. So on the playgrounds, you're going to see climbing and running and jumping and swinging, things like that. But in the educational outdoor learning lab, you're going to see children who are engaged in different types of activities, as Mrs. Bin said, that develop the whole child. So you're going to see children working with materials that maybe they don't get to work with inside. And it addresses many skills related to the preschool teaching and learning standards and some of those STEM activities.
Mrs. Haynes, I see a lot of cool stuff out here. Can you tell us about the learning activities here?
Yes, everything that's out here is intentionally planned for open-ended play for the children. We have an outdoor mud kitchen that has plenty of natural resources such as sticks and rocks and flowers that the children can use along with the soil and the water. It's very hands-on for the children. It supports their pretend play, and they're able to see the change that happens within having the soil and the water mixed together. We also have a cascading water table that supports the children's sensory and discovery as they play in the water. It serves as a calming activity for them. Every child loves to play in water. And we also have a large area for block play. The block play is much heavier than it is in the classroom, so they work different muscles as they use them. And they're able to build bigger structures, such as a vehicle or even a balance beam. We also have a ball and ramp set that supports that open-ended STEM learning, where they can explore force and gravity and motion as they manipulate the materials. And we have plenty of sensory tables with natural materials that we switch out seasonally that they can explore. There's plenty of bird feeders and binoculars and water gauges so that they can, look for measurement and things outdoors that they typically wouldn't see within the classroom.
Miss Donovan, everything sure looks fun here, and we know the kids are actually learning. Can you tell us some of the skills that the kids are learning?
Sure, Danya. There are so many skills out here. You're right. There's a lot of joy in outside playing, but there are so many skills happening in all kinds of domains. We look at, Mrs. Hosey mentioned the STEM skills, science, technology, engineering, and math. Just with the large blocks and with the ramps and balls, there's some engineering going on. We know that blocks are a huge math material. There are patterns, there's counting, there's measuring with our rain gauges, so there's all kinds of STEM skills happening. Even the scientific inquiry skills, such as classifying, sorting, observing, experimenting, predicting, all of those skills are able to be worked on while the children are out here. We also have skills such as cooperation, communication, critical thinking, what you might think of as 21st century skills. We're laying the foundation here in the outside classroom. You might not think that this is a place where there could be language and literacy skills, but there are. We have the Arbor, where there's some books for the children to read. They can learn about the concepts of print, fiction versus nonfiction books. Also, when you think about comprehension of a story, they can read Little Cloud or It Looked Like Spilt Milk and then come out here and look up at the clouds, or read Eric Carle's Very Hungry Caterpillar and then come out and look at some bugs. So it really helps with comprehension. And we know that vocabulary is a huge predictor of future reading success. And the opportunities for expanding vocabulary with synonyms and adjectives and adverbs are huge out here. And the last thing I'd like to point out is the number of social emotional skills that happen in an outdoor playground. First of all, they're taking care of nature. And taking care of things is how children learn about empathy. We're laying the foundation for that, as well as the problem solving, the self-regulation, the working together and teamwork. And even the perseverance and the things that are involved in character education are evident as well. So while you look around and see lots of fun happening, there are tons of skills being built at the same time.
Thank you so much. As you can see, an educational outdoor learning lab is a great place to learn while enjoying nature and having fun. We're glad you could join us here at the Pemberton Early Childhood Educational Center and look forward to seeing you next time on the Creative Classroom.
Thanks, Adanya, and thanks to the staff and students at the Pemberton Early Childhood Education Center for sharing their outdoor learning experience with us. That's our show for today, and please be sure to join us again for the next edition of Inside Outlook.